Well, Germany's top automotive lobby is raising red flags over a looming chip crisis. It's warned a standoff between China and the Netherlands, centred on chipmaker Nexperia, could soon disrupt car production throughout Europe. Deutsche Welle correspondent Chiponda Chimbelu joins us now from Berlin. Hi there, Chiponda. So why is this dispute such a critical issue for German car makers?
Well, Melissa, this week, Germany's biggest car maker, Volkswagen, actually warned that its production could be hit by a shortage of semiconductors made by chipmaker Nexperia. And that is because of the ongoing row between China and the Netherlands. Now, at the end of September, the Dutch government seized control of Nexperia, which is a subsidiary of Wing Tech Technology, a Shanghai-listed company in which the Chinese government also has a stake. Now, in response, Beijing blocked exports of chips made by Nexperia to Europe. And that is what is raising fears over chip supply shortages across the auto industry here. And that is also why the VDA, which is Germany's leading auto industry association, has warned that production in the auto industry could be affected by the row between China and the Netherlands.
Yeah, so more broadly, what ripple effects could this have on EU-China relations?
Well, we do know that the row between the Netherlands and China came up in a call between the EU's Trade Commissioner Maros Šefčovič and the Chinese Commerce Minister Wang Wentao, and that was on Tuesday. Now, Šefčovič also said that the ongoing row is a serious bilateral matter between the Netherlands and China, and he called for a swift resolution because of the wider impact that the dispute could have for Europe and the world. But it does look like the EU is staying out of the row over Nexperia for now, and that is because Brussels and Beijing have enough to deal with. The focus of the call between the EU trade chief and the Chinese Commerce Minister was actually Beijing's export controls on rare earths. Now, China is the world's biggest supplier of rare earths, and Brussels wants to see it lift export restrictions on those materials.
Yeah, what kind of response can we expect from Brussels?
Well, Brussels is actually looking into how it can put pressure on Beijing with its own measures if China doesn't lift the export controls on rare earths. But since those materials are critical for making electric vehicles and electronics, China may very well have the upper hand. Now, it does account for nearly 70% of global rare earth production. So this is really also about geopolitics. Now, there's been suggestions that the Dutch government may have seized control of Nexperia because of pressure from Washington. Now, the Dutch government has denied that, but that could also factor into trade negotiations between China and the EU, especially if Beijing believes that Washington had a hand in the Nexperia row. So, Melissa, this is really also about geopolitics in the EU, China, and the United States.
All right, Chiponda Chimbelu from Berlin there for us. Thanks very much. Planet America is coming up at 8 p.m. this evening.